Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of the Ford Train Express. I'm your boy, the Ford Train Express, and joining me tonight is Uncle Tats from the Pinstripe Chronicles and Jason of 161 River Ave. Gents, how are we doing?
On bated breath, but a lot of nerves. A lot of drinks, a lot of coffee. It's going to be a long weekend.
Yeah, same here. I'll be live every day during the winter meeting, so it's going to be crazy. Got a lot of activity already kicking up tonight, so buckle up, gang. Buckle your seatbelts. Make sure you have your notifications turned on for all of us.
And if you guys didn't hear earlier, Jason, myself, and others put out videos about Roki Sasaki now going to be posted tomorrow. So things have really heated up. So buckle up and get ready because it is going to be a ride and a half. So topic Soto. We all know it. We all talked about this. I mean, this is one saga we want to end. As far as we know, the offers are over 400 or over 700 million, excuse me. Figures unknown. We don't know what offers the Mets have made. We don't know what offers the Yankees have made. All we know is both New York clubs are trying to outdo the other three and then go in a slugfest with each other. The money at this point is nothing to both owners. They both want them. Only one can get them. Hopefully we hear sooner rather than later, but again, that's yet to be determined. I mean, Tats, what's your thought on this?
Oh, I've come to the realization, and we were talking about it really quick before we went live. You know, it's going to be a battle of the wallets between the two New York teams. Yep. There are teams I still think are very heavily involved. I don't think the Blue Jays are out. I don't think the Red Sox are out. And you don't know which other teams is going to be like, you know what, screw it. Let's just do it.
Nope.
You know, we'll worry about it later. Let's just be competitive. So it's getting it to the point where it's his decision. We as Yankee fans can want to will this any way we can into our favor. But as long as the number is respectable and we really are putting out, like, you know, Jason pointed out, you know, we've already exceeded the Ohtani contract in the offer. So can we really say that they didn't try? You know, it's ultimately going to be his decision. As long as the Yankees keep trying to match the offer or best the offer, we're just going to have to live with the decision that he makes. And hopefully we're living with it with excitement that he's staying in the Bronx.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason?
Like to Tats's point too. I mean, we talked about this. We've, you know, I don't, if Jack Curry's not pointing it out, or if Jeff Passan's not pointing it out, or Ken Rosenthal's not corroborating it, then I'm not really buying much of what everybody else says. So I'm keeping it really simple, right? Like Tat said, they've already exceeded Ohtani in both ways, total money and AAV. So I'm proud of Hal Steinbrenner for getting to that point. I really am. I mean, we can't say that they didn't put forth an honest effort. And at this point, we know that the Mets and the Yankees are above that number, right? They both exceeded the Ohtani number. So kudos to both of them. And, you know, I was saying too, you know, some folks ask me, what's my walkaway number? Well, at this point, I call it a stand your ground number. We've already exceeded Ohtani's number. Now the ball's in your court, Soto. You want to go to the Mets knowing that they still need to get 2 more pitchers and replace Pete Alonso? Or do you want to come to the Yankees knowing we need less? And you've already played for the Yankees and you've gone to the World Series with them. It's up to you.
Yeah.
It's up to you, right? And at this point, there's a difference between 150 and 200 million. And 710 and 750.
Yeah.
There's a difference between the two.
It's a huge difference.
That's where we're at right now, right? So, you know, $750 million. It's like, my God. So,
it's insane.
It is. And again, we're all playing, like Tat said too, we're playing the waiting game right now. It's unfortunate. We're getting, you know, a lot of people saying this and that and this and that. All we know, and I put out earlier, I can confirm that a lot of people are saying a lot of stuff.
Yep.
That's what I can confirm.
Exactly.
That's it. Nobody knows more than anybody else.
Yeah.
So,
But before we move on, let's give a quick shout out to the chat. Who, as always, lively as usual. We got Ken in the building. What's going on, Ken? Sean Browning. We've got Jonathan, who's always here. Jason's Prime Minister for Valuable Information. Yes, we do. We got David Cohen. We've got Dev Finch. We've got Jacob Petruzzi. Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. And guys, please hit that subscribe button if you have not done so. And please go ahead and subscribe to Jason's channel, 161 River Ave, and the Pinstripe Chronicles. These guys will put out every bit of good information you can possibly get. They put out the accurate information. That's what we want to give you, the best quality of information. So please go ahead and subscribe to their channels as well. And Nosebleed Section, welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. Now, as we move on with this, we know Soto's the hot name. We know that his decision is coming soon. But, Jason, you and I have talked, as well as NFB. And I spoke to you today about this, but the one thing that we don't know is what has Hal actually said to Boris and Soto? Could he have said, hey, we've got something going with Max Fried, because they had a 90-minute Zoom call with Max Fried, if you remember. And apparently that went very well. And people in his camp said that Max loved what he heard from the Yankees, and the Yankees loved Max. Now, with that being said, could that be where Cashman and Hal went to Soto and Boris and said, hey, we've got something going with Max. We're going to bring him in and then bring you in as well. We don't know what was actually said in those conversations. We're not behind those closed doors. Could it be that there's something else that the Yankees have done but just haven't mentioned it yet that could possibly open up the floodgates? Because at this point, Hal has already told Soto, it's not just going to be you and that's it. It's going to be you and others that we're building around you with. Mm-hmm. And with that report of Max Fried the other day, as well as Corbin Burns with the 2 meetings they had with him, could that be something that was said in that meeting with Boris and Soto? Jason, I'm going to throw it to you and then throw it over to Tats.
I say it could be, but the thing about the Yankees, they never leak anything ever.
Yep.
Cashman doesn't leak. Hal doesn't leak. If somebody's leaking, it's going to be Boris, Heyman. It's going to filter out through different channels, not through Hal, not through Cashman. So they could have a bunch of deals already agreed upon. Like I said earlier this week, they could have an agreement with Max Fried and agreements to trade Stroman and Cortez already to offset salary. But we have no idea. I have a feeling once the Soto situation is resolved, a whole bunch of stuff is going to happen after that.
This was just
the floodgates across the board through baseball and the Yankees. Tats, what's your take on it? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, no, we've known this for years. It's something that we've all talked about over and over again extensively throughout the season, off seasons, even during the All-Star breaks. The Yankees don't leak anything. They are very, very tight-lipped.
Yes.
I'm sure that there are plans that Hal's not telling Cashman and vice versa until it's credible to even approach it to each other. Yep. It's like that's just how close they keep that door bolted shut, and they don't let anything out. So we don't know. I would hope that Yankees front office extended an olive branch to Soto's camp that, hey, these are the players that we're also, that we're going to be pursuing. Obviously, with free agency, nothing's guaranteed. These are the players in our pipeline that we're also looking at. Because Soto is very, it came out that he wants to know exactly, like what the farm system situation is, that if he's going to be, locking himself in for many years, what their long-term plans are, not just for this upcoming season. So I would expect, for Yankees front office to give Soto the respect to at least give him a couple of crumbs just to keep him interested in wanting to return.
That's funny that you said that because I'm going to touch on that in a second. But Jonathan also just reported and also was on MLB Trade Rumors that the Orioles are reportedly reluctant to pursue QO players from other clubs, even though they just signed Tyler O'Neill tonight.
Yeah.
But, the other thing is, and Yankees country, what's going on, bro? Appreciate you coming on. He puts this on, and this is only if that report is true. If the Yankees and Mets are over $700 million, right, and the offer's even remotely close, he thinks the Yankees will get Soto. And I agree with that for 3 reasons. 1, the Mets could have the highest offer. It doesn't guarantee them Soto. 2, the Yankees have less to do, like you both said earlier, have less to do to get their team back to where they were. And 3, he's played in the Bronx for a full season. He loves Yankees fans. He loves the team. He said it during the middle of the season in an interview that he loves the way that Steinbrenner treats his people. So I agree with that statement that Yankees country said, that if the Yankees and Mets are over $700 million, if that report is true, and it is close, the Yankees get Soto. Tats, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I've said I think it's 55-45 in Yankees' favor between Hal and Steve, and I'm giving the Yankees the edge only because, like you said, he's already played in the Bronx for a year. He's already experienced the fan excitement of the postseason, not even just the regular season.
Yep.
And the heroics there. I've been in the games, I've been in the bleachers during a roll call. And the excitement when when he's chanting out and he turns around, he does his gesture, just the smile from ear to ear. It's not like he's not just catering to the fans. He was embracing it. And when you and any fan knows the difference when a player is really embracing the experience of the interaction, or they're just putting on the face because that they're being recognized.
Absolutely. Jason?
He does have a legitimate rapport with the fans and the team. But we have to keep in mind, he's also represented by Scott Boras, who's going to want to set new thresholds. And like I said, I've said for an entire year, once Ohtani got that $700 million, he gave Boras his opening to ask for the same for Juan Soto.
That can of worms was opened, absolutely.
And we're at. Look where we're at. We're here now, right? We're here, and we're surpassing that. So, and that's what Boras does. And he's the best at a job. So, and I got to give him credit for it. But it's not like I wouldn't be disappointed if he got eaten by a grizzly bear sometimes. But but he is the best at his job, and Soto's just sitting here letting him do his thing.
Yep.
And and I'm sure Boras is relaying a lot of information back to him. And this is probably the best free agent in the history of baseball right now, agency-wise. And this is the biggest contract that's ever going to be given. So it's going to take a little bit more time. People were outraged last year that Blake Snell went into March and some of these other guys went into February and March. We're in December.
Yeah, the Boras 5. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's we're way ahead of schedule in terms of free agent signings right now. So it's just it's going to take a little bit of time. As much as it's frustrating for Yankee fans and even us, it's out of our control, and sometimes it's out of their control too. So that's what it is.
And we have all talked about this with Judge and Soto. We have talked about this all year. How fun those two are to watch. Mm-hmm. There's more excitement to have Judge and Soto batting back to back rather than Lindor and Soto. There's not much there. Not saying Lindor's a bad player because he's not by any means, but it's not like Judge and Soto. So that's number one. Also, Brad brings up a great point here. If the report is true, then no one can ever refer to Hal as cheap, and he is 100% correct because he's already surpassed the AAV for Ohtani. He's already surpassed the years for Ohtani. Okay? And he's already shelled out that blank check for Soto. So no one can say he's cheap. And the third comment I want to bring up is Hal is showing he is not cheap, but a sensible businessman. And that's what he's doing. I don't know about you guys, but the fact that Hal is going blow for blow and punch for punch with Steve Cohen just to land Soto again should show this fan base that he is not cheap and that he is going for it, because he got a taste of the World Series last year. He didn't get that prize, and now he wants it. And now he's showing that he wants it because he's bringing out the ammunition and the firing squad to get what he wants.
Yeah, and and to your point too, I mean, Hal and them know, like, if they don't bring him back, they're gonna get an ungodly amount of heat from the fan base, right?
Yeah.
And beat Rise and everybody else in the Yankee fan community. They know this already. So, and they gave up a lot to get him. But at the end of the day, like, and what Tat said too, like, they've already offered the largest contract in Major League Baseball history.
Yes.
As have the Mets. At this point, I would ask Soto, do you want to go to the Mets for a little bit more money, or do you want to come back to a team that you went to the World Series with? They gave up a lot for you. It's up to you. Those are the two options. So, and if you're going to give anybody heat, if Soto goes to the Mets, and you boo the living daylights out of him when he comes in to play the Yankees. So at least we don't have to face him 25 times a year if that happens. So, but those are the two. It sounds as if, and I would not rule out the Red Sox yet or the Blue Jays or these guys, because they haven't been announced to be out. So, it sounds as if the Red Sox are making a last aggressive push right now. So, until that happens, the ball's in Soto's court. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's look. I've been saying it. I've said it on the roundtables with you guys on your channels. They've never been a cheap organization. They have mismanaged their spending, but they've never been cheap. They're actually, even with the absurdity of the offer. Whether it's whether because fans feel it's deserved, some fans don't. To each their own. It's not up to me to change your minds how you feel one way or another. But this is just the way the market is going. And the Yankees are showing that, hey, we may not be the only big dog in the yard anymore, but we're still here.
Yeah, we still got a lot of bark. And
because a lot of teams have tons of money to spend.
Yeah.
It's not like everybody says, well, if George was here, well, yeah, when George was here, he didn't have the competition from these other owners like he does now.
Mm-hmm.
So he was able to go that extra mile and just scoop everybody up.
Mm-hmm.
The business side of baseball is changed because of the thresholds.
Yeah,
revenue sharing.
Yeah, which please, I'll go down that whole rabbit hole. Jason will be here all night. But
To your point too, Tats, if I could add this, they're also self-financing their own stadium.
Yeah.
Another level of expenses that George never had to deal with.
Yeah, there's no sponsorships outside.
Yeah, so there's a lot more moving parts here where Hal's different than George. And I don't know if George would have been as successful as Hal at this point with the new game. You don't know. He flexed his muscle a lot and all that stuff. Yeah, okay, but now it's more brains than muscle. So it's a little bit of a different landscape now. And again, it's just the way that it is. So
yeah, but the counter offer to that is nobody wants to hear about what your bills are. They just want to hear. They just want to see the product you're putting out.
Yep.
That's all they really care. They're not nobody's looking that deep into it.
Yeah, well, I mean, and unfortunately, I do, because I tell people, guess what? You're voluntarily paying. You're not being forced to pay to come see the Yankees.
No.
Okay. Period. Too. That's what I tell people all the time. Nobody's forcing us. Nobody's deducting. Our wages aren't being garnished for the Yankees.
So, Jason, I'm glad you mentioned the Red Sox. Jake Boss, what's going on, brother? I'm glad you mentioned the Red Sox, and I'll tell you why I'm glad you mentioned them. Because they're not out of it. You're right.
They're dead serious.
They're not. They're dead serious about it. But here's my question that I want to pose to the chat, and I want to pose to both of you. Mookie Betts, at the time he was traded, was a generational superstar for that team. They didn't want to pay him. So what did they do? They traded him to the Dodgers. What makes you think they want to shell out that kind of money for Soto? Same kind of player. Generational player.
I think they realized their mistake letting a guy like that go, and they want to redeem themselves.
But is it too late for them to redeem themselves?
This is an opportunity for them to have
It's never too late to turn your franchise around.
Yeah, and they're going to have two Dominican superstars here like they had with Ortiz and Manny. Again, we're Devers and Soto. That's the way I look at it, too. So it's a different –
And Devers wants somebody that's going to stand above him in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be the guy. So the organization's going to give him the respect of saying, all right, we'll try to get you somebody that can, take the spotlight away from you.
And maybe now that they've lost Tyler O'Neill tonight, maybe they're a little bit more motivated to try to add Soto.
Yep.
You got to replace Tyler O'Neill's offense.
Yep. Yeah, Xander Bogaerts too, Sean. You're right. He was another great player. I think Boston trying to clean house has put themselves in a hole. But yeah, they make this one move. Boston's right back in the mix with everybody else.
Yeah.
You betcha.
They have the depth.
Yeah.
You betcha.
Now, Ken brings up a good point. Red Sox need a pair talented hitter with Devers' bat, and he's right. However, at the same expense, the Red Sox have a further. They're like the Mets in a way because they've got more to do to build to get that team to where it needs to be. So, because we know that Soto wants to win. We know this. Does he want to win 10 years from now, or does he want to win now? That's what he's got to ask himself. Because if he wants to win now, the answer to his issue, of this good issue that he's got, is a very simple one. Re-sign with the Yankees. Because he went to the World Series with them last year. He torched Cleveland in the ALCS. He didn't even do that bad against the Dodgers in the World Series. I mean, the answer is right there in front of him. So, like you said, Jason, ball's in his court.
Yep.
But, we'll find this out hopefully tonight. Don't think it's going to happen. Probably tomorrow, next day. But moving on to the pitching side of things. What did you guys think of the whole Max Fried news that was broken?
No, I think if we're able to get Max Fried, I think that'd be an incredible add to the team. I think that Burns would as well. Me and the guys, we talked about it on our last show between those two guys. If you're, especially with Fried being a lefty, I also think that with his injury history, go ahead.
I got the Orioles just signed Gary Sanchez.
Good for them.
Really?
Sorry to interrupt. So,
Yeah, no. Good for them. But no. I think either pitcher would be.
Oh my god! Is that on MLB Trade Rumors?
No, it'll be on there in a couple minutes. This is John Heyman.
Oh god!
Yeah.
Oh Jesus!
Sanchez and Tyler O'Neill.
Well, I did see that. Brad put it in the chat too, so that Brad's got more credibility than Heyman.
I think everybody has more credibility than him.
There you go, Jonathan.
As much as he breaks my balls, he's got more credibility than Heyman. But I also think that if we get one of these two pitches, especially with Max Fried being a lefty, I think it gives the flexibility to move on from Cortez and Stroman or both, one or the other, both. Trying to grab Bellinger from the Cubs, because now you're freed up already resecured your rotation.
And think about if they add Fried, Cole, Fried, Rodon, and Hill. The Mets are going to have to add Corbin Burns and bring back Sean Manaea just to
Even
get on that level. And we have Schmidt too.
And Schmidt. That's a nasty 4 and 5. Hill and Schmidt.
Yeah.
that means you're getting your Cy Young Award winner from 23. You're getting a Cy Young Award winner, I think, from 21 in Fried. You're getting a Bulldog in Rodon. You're getting your Rookie of the Year, and then you're getting the guy right behind him who can close out.
Does Rodon have a Cy Young as well?
I'll look.
I don't think so, but he has a.
He's got. I know he had that one good year. Unless he was maybe
the Giants, right?
Yeah.
He's a two-time All-Star. He does not have a
He's an All-Star. Okay. I'm like, I know he's been at the top of his game. He was at the top of the game for a year or two.
Yeah.
But still, you would have a two-time All-Star in Rodon. You'd have your 23 Cy Young Award winner. You'd have what's his name? Schmidt closing it out at the back end of the rotation. You've got your Rookie of the Year, and then you would have Max Fried, who is actually a 2001 World Series champion. He's not a Cy Young Award winner, excuse me. He's a two-time All-Star, a three-time Gold Glover, and a Silver Slugger.
And the Mets would have to add Burns, bring back Manaea, and bring back Pete Alonso, too.
Well, they don't need Manaea. They just got Holmes.
Well, this is true, too. Holmes.
Why they're putting Clay Holmes as the starter, I don't understand that at all.
$13 million a year, too. Look at the prices for pitching. Like Holmes, and you got some of these other guys like Jack.
Think about this.
Time under $20 million.
Think about this. Everybody talks about the Dodgers, right? Everybody talks about them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? In that rotation. But if you think about Glasnow, Snell, Ohtani, Yamamoto, and whoever else the fuck they've got, right?
And May
and whatnot, Kershaw. Half that rotation is out half the year every year. Glasnow can't stay healthy. Snell doesn't pitch more than 180 innings. Yamamoto was just on the 60-day IL last year and out for most of the season. Ohtani's arm is falling off. I mean, that whole rotation is made of glass. And then you put them up against Cole, Fried, Rodon, Hill, and Schmidt. I like our chances in that.
Yeah,
well, I think of the teams still in contention with the Yankees, Mets, the Red Sox, the Jays. The Mets really with if Soto's the only move, I think we're still in better position going into the next season than any of the other teams.
I would agree.
And
I think if there's you want to poke at one weakness that the Yankees have that they really should be addressing is the bullpen.
And Tiffany, we are looking at both of them actually.
Yeah.
The Yankees had a secret meeting with Burns last month. Then they had a Zoom meeting with Burns this month, and then they also had a 90-minute Zoom meeting with Max Fried, and that went very well. Both Fried and the Yankees have a mutual interest in each other. So, yes, that is true. We are looking at both Burns and Fried. And just to put this out there, there was an article. You are quite welcome. There was an article that was posted online that said, with that Fried meeting with the Yankees, just turned disastrous for Atlanta.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
I try not to worry about the feelings or the state of other teams that, unless they're in our division, I don't really pay too much attention to reports from Atlanta.
But
it's still a significant deal, though, if they lose Fried to us.
Oh, that would be a blow, absolutely. But that's for them to worry about. It doesn't concern us.
Yeah.
Like grabbing Burns away from the Orioles, that gets the blood flowing.
Yeah. If the Braves lose Fried, expect them to be making a major bid for Corbin Burns.
Also, Yes, that's not what I'm trying to pull up. It was Brad's comment here. The free Zoom call was the best one he'd had, according to his people. So,
Yeah, that's what we're hearing too. We'll see.
I mean, that's huge. I mean, especially when you think about where we were last year, what that does to the rotation. You take the pressure off Rodon. You give Cole a clear-cut 1A.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a second lefty in that rotation. And then all you've got to do is either go out and get Housley, which St. Louis has already said they don't want to move him, Pete Fairbanks, or Andrew Nardi of Miami.
Yeah, I think they need to bring in a couple of relievers.
Oh, God. You'll like this one.
Yankees get freed and Smoltz will bleed. Yeah, you are.
Yeah, and then Jake's even saying, that Freed turned down the extension from the Braves.
Yeah,
So
sweet too.
I think he felt it was time to move on. I don't think they felt they managed him properly with the injuries, and I think maybe even the extension. I don't know the numbers. Maybe they try to undercut him because of the injuries that he's had. But
in that game 6 in Houston, he was huge for Atlanta. And
he was a big part of that. He was a big part of their team. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. To Aiden's asking us if you want Thairo Estrada. Now, there's no room for Thairo Estrada to play here.
No, I think the
don't
need on him.
I hate to say, but we don't need it.
Yeah, we need him.
Guys, smash that like button if you haven't done so already. It's greatly appreciated. So thank you guys for doing that and subscribing as well.
Yep.
Nothing yet, Udall. Nothing yet. Any real Yankee news? Nothing that we could.
Yeah, the news is we're all still waiting.
Yeah, exactly. So now that we turn our attention away from starting pitching to the bullpen, what would be your wish list for bullpen guys, whether it be a trade or a sign or whatever it may be? And knowing that Housley is probably off the table now, who would you like to see them go after?
Go ahead, Tess.
Yeah, my number one is in free agency, and that's Tanner Scott.
Yep.
I think he's worth the closer money in spades. And I think it'd be great for Weaver to kind of, let him just do his thing and before Weaver goes to free agency. So a pitcher having a guy, somebody like Tanner Scott, I think would really elevate Weaver to really increase his value, which would be great for him. Mm-hmm. Just for the way he was able to kind of ball for us in the postseason. He was incredible.
He was lights out.
It also takes the pressure off of Tanner Scott. I think the two of them would really be they'd be an incredible tandem. And then maybe trying to get like a Devin Williams into the pen would be my second pick.
You get Scott and then Devin Williams. That's a pretty nasty.
Yeah. That'd be an insane 7, 8, 9 with Weaver. Williams and Scott. And that goes back to the Killer Bees bullpen that we had years ago.
Yeah.
Rose Brackman and Betances.
Yep.
Yeah, or DMC. Dylan Miller.
What was that, DMC, right?
Dylan Miller and Chapman.
Mm-hmm.
I think they bring in Tim Hill back, Tim on a short deal, because he was pretty serviceable here. Kyle Finnegan, someone I would look at. He was not intended by Nationals. But Nardi is a guy worth looking into because he's got 4 years of control. So, and even Camilo Duvall from the Giants.
Yep.
The Giants are interested in Marcus Stroman again, so they interested in him last year. They're looking for starting pitching. So
that might be worth exploring. So
yeah, even if you have to attach a prospect to Marcus Stroman, so
I'm okay with that
contract.
I'm okay with that. I would attach maybe a Will Warren or something to give Will Warren a change of scenery just because it might do him some good. We have a question here from Yankees country. Do you see the Yankees? Do you think they will trade for Nico Horner or Brendan Donovan? I would like them to go after Brendan Donovan.
It'll cost you.
The only way I think we get Nico Horner is if we take Cody Bellinger. I think that's the only way we get Nico Horner.
Yep. Yeah, we would. Yeah, to get Nico, we'd have to take Bellinger, all of Bellinger's contract.
Yep.
And I think it just Donovan was a guy right into the offseason. You know, myself, Robin Donald, we were like, if you can get him, get him. But I think Donovan's just going to be too rich of a trade, where it'll just there's too many other options that you don't need to get desperate and empty your farm.
Yeah, I mean Donovan would cost. You gotta say bye to Roderick Arias.
Yep.
And
I'd be okay with that. Or Caleb Durbin. It'd be one of those two that have to go.
Yeah, you'd have to. I have no problem trading Roderick Arias for a guy like Brendan Donovan. He's blocked by George Lombard anyway.
Yeah.
You know. So, and if the Cardinals are, they clearly want to trade Arenado, but they're having trouble finding takers, and no surprise.
Because he's got $68 million left on his contract.
So Brendan Donovan's would have cost a lot. And again, like if the Cardinals are saying we're going to take a few years, well, Arias is a guy that by the time he's ready for the majors, maybe he'll be in the window to contend again, and he'll have his time clock wouldn't even start until then.
Yeah.
So, now in terms of Tim Hill, people were bashing Tim Hill.
I like Tim Hill.
I did too.
Yeah, and it doesn't really matter his strikeout totals. He had a 2.05 ERA with the Yankees, and he was serviceable.
Yep.
We have other strikeout guys.
Yeah. Now is Lightning going to strike twice with Hill? Who knows?
You can get him on the cheap. It's not.
But it's a cheap player, and you're going to have a much better fielding infield going into next season. That's got to be taken into account too.
And add Fried to that. Fried induces a lot of ground balls.
Yes. Yeah. And that I don't care about Fried's strikeout numbers. I don't care about Tim Hill's strikeout numbers. As long as you're getting outs and getting me ground balls, I'm taking it. Jake Boss brings up a good point here, though, gents, is Bellinger trade to Yanks seems like a real possibility this offseason. And, Jason, you and I had spoken about this the other day. Fried, Soto, and Bellinger all seem very, very likely. If you get one, you're going to start reeling in everybody. Because let's just say, for example, the Yankees tomorrow get the news that they're re-signing Soto, right? Watch what happens after that. Don't be surprised if they get Fried. Don't be surprised if they go out and trade for Bellinger. Because you're going to just see people start. You're going to just watch them reel people in. So all I'm saying is, if you get one of them, you're probably getting all of them.
Yeah, I think once the Soto news comes out, I think it's going to be 5 days of just floods of moves.
Yeah,
that's going to break the dam.
Yeah, it's cracking, breaking, and now once it completely explodes, everything's just going to go off the rails.
Yep. And hold on, who do we have in the bullpen now? We've got Mark Leiter Jr.
Yep.
Jake
Luke
Cousins.
Weaver.
Luke Weaver.
And in answer to Eli's question, it's Luke Weaver. That's our K guy.
Yeah.
Weaver, Leiter averages 13 per 9. And you got Jake Cousins averages more than 9 per 9. You got Ian Hamilton averages more than 9 per 9.
Yep.
So, and
we do have strikeout guys.
Yeah. And if you get Tanner Scott, he averages more than 9 per 9.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to bring in somebody like David Robertson, 100 strikeouts in 70 innings. 99 in 70 innings. He's like 40.
Who's this?
David Robertson.
Yeah.
An older guy, you can get him on the cheap, and he's familiar with New York.
What's his name? Kenny brought that up.
Kirby Yates, too. Look at his
available. Yep.
112 ERA. We don't need only strikeouts. We need to get dudes to get guys out and keep the guys off bases. And Kirby Yates doesn't walk a lot of guys. Neither does David Robertson. We need relievers who aren't going to walk a ton of guys.
Yep.
So,
And Gavo, who's saying that Soto's going to the Mets? Who's telling you that? Who's your source? Who's giving you that information?
who are the old heads?
Yeah, give us a little context to that. We'll interact, but we need a little more context to the comment.
Why Jordan Romano, Li?
Here's something that I'm going to bring up for you guys. Bellinger comes to the Yankees when donkeys fly. Bellinger's hard hit rate, home run numbers have significantly dropped. Why bring in a high contact for less production?
You could probably get Josh Naylor for the cheap. On the cheap. Oh, he's plus half the price. You can get. I've told this to you, Mazza. Like, it might be a good idea for the Yankees to look into trading for Luis Arias for first base for the Padres.
I brought that up to you too.
Yeah, I think we all talked about that one.
By the way, that has not been confirmed. All we know is that both have exceeded $700 million. The figures are not.
Roto World. What's Roto World?
That's another sports site that gives out information, but that's not been confirmed by Passan or Rosenthal or Curry.
Jordan Romano had a 6.59 ERA this year.
Yeah,
I don't know about that. I don't know about Romano.
Now, if you want to give me JoJo Romero, I'll take that. From St. Louis.
Yeah. There's a lot of. I still think Boris is trying to up the ante on the Mets and the Yankees. Try to inch.
He wants to watch the slugfest. That's what he wants.
Yeah, on the two teams that are still over $700 million.
He's saying Mets 730, Yanks 710.
That hasn't been corroborated by anybody yet.
Yeah. That's not been.
I mean, those could be the legit numbers. Cohen said he was going to make his offer significant. Mm-hmm. But the Yankees are doing the same thing. And we're trying to be responsible about it and not overreact to the numbers. We're trying to really just take a stance of we'll see which offer he prefers.
Yeah. And LA, all due respect, but Romano is not better than Weaver. He's not better than Cousins. He's not better than Leiter Jr. So I would disagree with that comment there, LA.
And I would disagree with this one too. Mets taking it well into the $800 million. James won't dance that high.
Who told you that, Gavo? We need sources. We need legitimate sources, not X, not Twitter. That's not Hector Gomez or Ben Yole. We need legitimate
troll Yole.
That's all due respect, but this is we like to have serious corroboration of reports. It's important to give people the right information.
Yeah, it's one thing to break down that from with a rumor, but we're not gonna be like, oh, okay, we want to see the credibility to the numbers.
Here's a great question. Do you think there's a chance Soto signs tomorrow? Do I think there's a chance? Yes. Do I think it'll happen? No.
Boris will be at the winter meetings.
It could happen. It could happen in 5 minutes. We don't know.
Yeah,
we really don't. When he makes his decision, he makes it.
Yep.
He is on. He is on the West Coast right now, I believe. So they're also right now. It's only 7:00 by him. So he might be making a decision after dinner.
Yeah,
who the freak knows?
He can make a decision at midnight tonight. We don't know. But anyways, why do you want to shop Luke Weaver? Luke Weaver was a lockdown closer for us.
Yeah. I don't know, man. What's your thought process here, Li? What's your thought process here? Trying to get a deeper understanding of where you're coming from. Isn't Eric Raiselman too? Isn't he going to be exposed to the Rule 5 draft?
Yes, I think so.
Yes, he might be. He might not be here on Wednesday. Somebody might pick him up. No, that's another unfortunate possibility. He wasn't left protected in Rule 5.
Yeah.
But
I'll reiterate what I said earlier on the percentages for the people that showed up a little later on. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Hope you subscribe to Maz's channel and ours. But I'm still saying that it's the Yankees and the Mets, but I'm still giving respect to other teams that are still involved. You never know. But my personal opinion, I think it's going to be a battle of the boroughs and the wallets.
absolutely.
And I'm saying it's going to be 55-45 in the Yankees' favor, only because he just played a whole year with us.
Yep.
He got a taste of the Bronx, the fan base, the stadium,
Got a taste of the
aura
postseason.
of the Yankee Stadium. So I'm not just saying it's not going to be a blowaway offer. It's really not.
I would have to agree with you, Tats, 100%. Like, if he didn't play for the Yankees this year, then the Mets would have a bigger advantage.
Yep. And
but he did.
He also got a taste of the postseason in the Bronx. So
World
he got a
Series.
chance
For
to see
sure.
that too.
Do you think it's safe to say that if he didn't have this year for the Yankees already, that Hal would not have gone to this offer?
I would agree. And if I can add something to that, we would not be talking 700 if the Dodgers didn't give Ohtani 700 last year.
Yep, that's true too.
They are the ones that set the standard, not the Yankees.
Yep.
They outbid. They added $300 million to what Mike Trout. The Dodgers set this new threshold.
Also, just to put this out there,
Keep that in mind.
the Dodgers have almost $1 billion in deferred money, and that's going to hit them one right after the other. And I can tell you now, it's going to tie them up for the next 2.5 decades. I promise you that. Because that deferred money is going to go against the salary cap. Also, here's a great question. Is there one surprising player you think the Yankees will sign for or trade for?
Surprise player?
I got one, but I'll let you guys go first.
I think if they pull the trigger on the Arias trade with the Padres, I think that would shock me. I'd be stunned. We talked about it, and I want it to happen, but I don't know. I don't see that as a realistic bar in their plan.
Yeah, that would be a surprise.
Yeah,
would not expect it. Or signing with Corbin Burns would be my signing.
Signing that was my signing was Corbin Burns.
Okay.
The other one that I have would be for signing would be Kyle Finnegan. He was non-tendered.
I have to go. I wanted him at the deadline.
Yeah,
guys, let's cut the insults out, please, because we're not doing that here. We don't do that here. Let's cut that. Appreciate that. But yeah, no, Kyle Finnegan would be my other surprise.
Him and Romano were both non-tendered at the deadline. I mean, both non-tendered recently. That's a surprise.
Maz, I'm gonna bring this comment up because I actually think it's a legitimate comment from Gabo here. He's actually having some really good comments. He's asking if the Mets don't make it to the NLCS, but the Yankees would be the favorites in his opinion. I think the length of the postseason each team had does give them that's why I'm leaning towards those two teams on top of already playing in New York. So Gabo, that's a good point.
That's a good point. Good point.
Now for trade wise, my surprise if I had to take for trade would be Camilo Duvall.
I'd be surprised too. Be surprised too. If they were going to trade somebody out, my surprise would be Trent Grisham.
Yep.
But I do think a team would be willing to pay $5 million for a starting outfielder with an elite glove. So there is a possibility that he can get dealt. But if he stays the fourth outfielder, I'm fine with that. But they are getting Everson Pereira back, and he just got a fourth option too. So which makes him more appealing to keep, but also makes him more appealing to trade. So that's a nice little addition for the Yankees right there.
So Jose asked, are the Yankees going to get Soto? Anybody help me out here? What's going on? I'm very confident they
We're
will.
all floating down the same river, waiting
Yep.
to see where it ends.
Yeah, right.
For me, I'm very confident that they will. I've said that from day one. Just because he's played in the Bronx, got a taste of the Bronx, got a taste of the postseason in the Bronx, the World Series in the Bronx.
Yeah.
He really interacted well with the fans. And, I think that's what puts the Yankees over the edge for me.
Yeah, and like we had the two moves. Right now it's the quiet before the storm.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I got about 10 minutes before I got to duck out. I want to ask a question to you guys while we have really, you got 68 people, Mazza, and that's awesome. And we got a lot of smart baseball people here.
Yes.
So I want to ask this question. Should, with the way the contracts can keep growing and growing and growing, should the next season, obviously they can't do anything now, we're already on the way in the off season. Should they increase the tax thresholds going into the next season?
probably, because I don't think it's fair to penalize.
I think the 300 mark. I think that at this stage it's just so low.
Yeah.
That it's kind of handcuffing teams to feel like they can compete.
Yeah, and to your point too, we've talked about this. I mean, there should be more focus on a salary floor.
Oh, absolutely.
And why are we penalizing the teams that spend and invest in their products?
Yep.
Why are we penalizing them instead of
the Royals did? The Royals spent on their franchise.
Yeah, instead of penalizing teams that pocket revenue sharing money. We've talked about this ad nauseum for over a year.
Yeah.
Like, it's very
I
frustrating.
think every off season for the last 3 years we've had that discussion.
Yeah, and it's very frustrating. Like, there should be no reason the Yankees should be paying $60 million in extra penalty going over the cone threshold, or the Mets, or the Dodgers, or any of these teams. It's not fair. It's not fair. So I do think the emphasis should be a salary floor instead of a cap. But I would agree with you, Tess. I think I would increase the levels.
Absolutely. I'm not even going into LB's comment because it's beyond ridiculous. It's between the Mets and Red Sox. You'll all find out in a few hours. Okay.
Well, let the better team win. I don't know what else to add to that.
Yeah, you keep dreaming there. Anyways, there was a comment that, Tats, I want to get your thoughts on here. The surprise signing would be Sasaki.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So I don't. We all said on my channel, we were like, yeah, they're gonna post him. He'd be a cheap guy to get compared to the rest of the market. But he's gonna go to the Dodgers. I think he's already has that. I think that's already his plan. That's my opinion.
I'll tell you what, because Ken brought up a great point to me earlier, and that was because he's only going to cost IFA money. The Dodgers are in the 27th percentile for IFA money. The Yankees are ahead of them.
That's a good
But
point.
again, keep in mind he'll be very marketable in LA.
Yes,
and
he would be,
because I don't think he's going to be like, you know what, I want to play for Terry Francona and the Reds. I don't think that's going to happen. I want to go to the Rockies. I don't think that's going to happen either. So it's going to be down to a handful of teams, and the Yankees are going to be one of them. So are the Dodgers, and maybe a couple others. But I'll say this, and if he came here, I would start him in a bullpen.
I would too, 100%.
He would not be the number one here if he came here.
No, that's why I don't think he's going to pick the Yankees. Are going to be in on him. I don't think he's going to pick the Yankees.
Yeah,
he wouldn't even be the number one on the Dodgers.
No, he wouldn't be.
So this obsession is going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Actually, what would make sense if I think Seattle would make sense for him.
Yes,
because they're looking to move Luis Castillo, and that was slide him in the A spot.
Yeah. Even the Padres. Padres need another pitcher.
Padres need pitching.
They got to replace Musgrove. And he's close with Darvish. So, that'd be something.
I like this one. These contracts are the death of baseball. They're forcing ticket prices to be too high for the average Joe, being able to take their kids to games. This will keep from building a new fan base. And he's right.
Oh, before you leave, Tats, I got a question for you two guys.
Um,
The teams that lose out on Sasaki, do you think they'll be in the running for Nestor Cortez?
Yes.
oh, I think so.
Yep.
I mean, yes.
With the
Totally,
price,
two totally different pitches.
with the prices of pitching and the value
But
that he
with the
brings,
price of pitching, I think you can move him. No, I think Cortez is an easier move than Stroman.
and I think he can fetch good value too.
The one team
that could use. You could also switch to a longman position.
Mm-hmm.
The team I think though,
value.
Pats, that would be easy to move Stroman to would be San Francisco because they wanted him last year, and he wanted and he burned them and said, "Nope, I'm going to the Yankees."
Yeah, I think you'd have to attach a prospect to Stroman, but you won't have to attach one to Cortez.
Yeah.
Cortez.
No, and Cortez is still has one more year under control, so it's just whatever arbitration is.
Yep.
Mhm.
You're not taking on a contract.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're going to get 170 innings out of him, of pretty quality baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So if the Yankees bring in Max Fried, he's easier to move.
Yeah,
now,
unfortunately for Cortez, the success of Heal and Schmidt this year kind of made him the odd man out.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
And I'll tell you, I think that they will bring in Fried. I think even if they bring in Soto, they will still find a way to bring in Max Fried. And I don't think Hal cares about the QO in that sense because he knows he's getting a top of the line starter.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. See, when I take over as commissioner, that's the first thing I'm getting rid of is the qualifying offer and putting it in the ceiling floor. Those are my two main tasks.
That's a good trade. Trading for the freaking floor.
Yeah.
That trade any day of the week, man.
But listen, gentlemen, as always, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys. Everybody in the chat, if you're not following me on the Pitch Strike Chronicles, please go do so. We go live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 a.m. And then tomorrow at 11 a.m., the girls have their female show, The Upper Deck, with Lynn and Sierra, who a lot of people on social media know Sierra. We're grateful to have her on our team, but do appreciate you guys. And
it's always a pleasure, man.
wait for the Soto news. We'll be ready.
Yeah, let's rock and roll.
Absolutely.
Let's rock and roll. Peace and love, man.
Yeah.
Tats, catch you.
All right. Love you guys.
Right. So, Jason, Ken brings up a good point here, and that is if Fried comes in, they have to trade Cortez and Stroman's contracts. And he's right. I think they would probably trade Stroman first because he's got more money on that contract.
Yeah.
But then again, they may trade Cortez first. Who knows?
What the price is? I mean, Fried is going to cost between 25 and 30 million a year.
Yep.
Flaherty is going to cost between 20 and 25.
Yep.
Walker is going to cost between 16 and 20.
Corbin Burns is going to cost between 30 and 35.
Maybe between 35 and 40 for Burns. Sean Manaea is going to cost over 20 a year. So, like my God, would they even consider trading Clark Schmidt for a pre-arb player with a bunch of years?
They could.
So they have options here. And again, people that say the Yankees don't develop players, I mean, they got two of the top three guys in Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Volpe. They got two guys that are going to be, probably Dominguez and most likely Caleb Durbin, highly touted prospects, going to be here next year. Half of their team is prospects.
Yeah.
Young prospects.
And how much are the Yankees offering Soto right now? Numbers are unknown.
We just know that it's over 700.
All we know is that it's over 700, and both the Yankees and Mets don't care.
Yep. Bryce Harper news. Bryce Harper's still with the Phillies, Aaron. He ain't going anywhere. Bryce Harper.
Nope, that's not happening.
He's too valuable for the Phillies. Way too valuable.
Bryce Harper, he's not leaving Philly. He likes Philly too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I wanted to pose a question to you, and that is, let's say we re-sign Soto, we bring in Max Fried. What's the next move you make?
Me?
Mm-hmm. Is it a trade or is it another signing?
Trade. I think if they bring Fried on top of Soto, then everything else will be trades.
Okay, that's fair.
That's what I think.
Can you see the Angels moving on from Mike Trout?
Not anytime soon. Looks like they're trying to add. They just brought in Kikuchi. They just brought in Jorge Soler. They're adding to Trout. They're going to try to maximize whatever type of run. I mean, there's a chance that Houston's going to lose either Tucker or Bregman.
Or both.
Or both. There's a chance, the Mariners, who knows what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Texas Rangers just added Kyle Gashioka, but, they're getting older. So there's a chance they could be putting themselves in the running to maybe get a wild card spot if they stay healthy and play well. But that depends on Trout staying healthy too.
Yeah.
He's on top, man.
I mean, it's going to be a wild ride the next couple of days. It's
going to be a shitstorm.
I mean, I'm guessing probably next couple of days we'll find out about Soto. Give or take. And then once Soto falls, I think everything else falls into place after that. I think Fried will get picked up after that. Burns I got going to the Rays. Here's a comment I like, actually. I want to bring this up as well. It's this one. If you could trade for Fairbanks and Diaz from the Rays, would you do it? Or that would be good. What do you think about that?
Depends what you have to give up for them. And I think, the Rays have the best scouting development system in baseball.
Yeah.
So they're going to pick a good package. And they're going to pick guys that they think that they know they could develop and so on. So, and it might not be somebody we're thinking about, but it would hit two needs. Yeah. On the cheap. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Yandy's got a couple of years left of control. So,
Jason Mazza, did y'all want Bieber?
No.
He got a good contract? No. 200 promo. I like this from Brad. Once Soto goes to the Hoover Dam, getting demolished with players. Absolutely right.
Damn right. Yeah. Yankees 40 man's it's at 37, Robert. Yep. They have some spots. They've got some spots to fill. So, and they're in a good spot heading into the winter meetings. So,
I mean, we are about to be on the ride of a lifetime.
This is going to be DEFCON 5, man. We're going to be at DEFCON 5 for the next week.
Yeah.
It's going to be high alert for everything here.
You can bank tomorrow. Everything's going to start getting, well, oh, wait, the Soto's decision's coming soon. Soto's decision's coming soon. And you are going to see eyes light up, ears open, mouths closed. You are going to see people just lighting up the news feed.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be crazy. I mean, it's going to be. I'll say this: it's going to be a combination of crazy and stupid until Soto signs, and it's going to be crazy afterward. We're going to continue to hear more BS.
Yeah.
And then once the facts come in, the facts come in.
Yep. So, and then whenever,
and like people are asking what I do Bellinger and Horner. Well, Horner means you give up on Caleb Durbin. They have similar skill sets. Horner costs $11 million a year for the next 2 years. Durbin will be on the cheap. So I don't know if it's worth adding Horner here. I'm
with you on that. I don't know if it's going to be.
I don't know.
But
I think they're going to try to go with. Honestly, I think they're going to try to go with Dominguez in left, and Horner and Durbin at second base. Now, this could change if Soto doesn't come here, right?
A lot could change if Soto.
I would move Judge to right, and then try to go get a center fielder.
Yeah.
So I would not.
Who that center fielder may be, I don't know.
I mean, it could be. Then you can get a Bellinger and move him to center field. He's an elite defender in the outfield. Dominguez is not an elite defender. That's why I would never put him in center field. So,
yeah, I mean, I agree with that 100%. I don't know in that situation what you do. I mean,
Yeah, I think it's a lot of the stuff is going to depend on Juan Soto. Unfortunately, everybody's at the mercy of Juan Soto right now. I heard Horner and Bellinger being shopped to the Mariners. Ken,
That they're being traded or they're
shopped. They're being shopped. So,
I heard that too.
and again, the only reason the Yankees are in this conversation that for $700 million is because of Hal.
Yeah.
So
Because Hal is
I give Hal all the credit in the world for this.
Hal is putting that pressure on him.
People love to trash Hal a lot, but yeah. But keep in mind too, we've got Jazz Chisholm at third base for the next 2 years.
Yep.
So I don't think he's moving anytime soon.
At this point with Soto, it's just going to be that waiting game. We all know where both the Yankees and Mets are at. We all know that they're both over that $700 million, and they both don't care about that. It's here's my blank check. No, here's my blank check. No, here's mine. No, here's mine. Kind of just shoving it at them.
Yeah, it's when it comes to Bellinger too. If Soto comes back, and we get Bellinger, then Bellinger plays first base.
Yeah.
If Soto leaves and Bellinger comes here, then I think Bellinger goes to the outfield.
Yeah.
And that's the way I see it. I think they're going to go with Dominguez, and I think they're going to go with Caleb Durbin. So, but that could change. That could change. So,
and then Jacob wants to know, do you agree that Durbin shouldn't get the keys? He needs to have competition for second base.
He does. You got Oswald Peraza, you got Yorbit Vivas. He has competition. It doesn't mean he doesn't need $11 million competition.
No.
Because that $11 million is going to be playing because he's being paid by the Yankees. They're going to sit. They bring in Horner here. They're going to sit Durbin or trade Durbin.
Yep.
So I don't think that would be the right competition for him.
Yeah. All we know right now is whatever happens with Soto, whether he stays or goes. I mean, again, I think we're all in agreement that we are very confident Soto comes back.
They're over 700 now, so I think it's increased.
They're already down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's increased the chances of the Yankees getting him back. But
yeah.
Until it actually happens, he's still a free agent.
Yep. And I think if it's close, Yankees got it.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to go to the Mets for an extra $10 million, go right ahead, man.
But I don't know if he wants to do that because I think he's more of the win now type of player because he already has a taste of what it feels like to win when he won it with the Nationals in 19.
Mm-hmm.
So he seems like the type of player that wants to win now. And Sean Brown brings up a great point. At this point, all chips in. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring up this comment on X, Twitter.
Okay.
And the Yankees are worth over $7 billion and generated $679 million in revenue the year before they made the World Series run. Or the year they made the World Series run. If they don't have the highest offer for Soto, house time runner is a joke. These guys are equating revenues to profits. They did not make $679 million in profits. Okay, 600. That's the revenue. 679.
Mm-hmm.
Take the 315 away on the payroll. Right now we're down to what? 360. Take the 130 off for revenue sharing. Now we're down to 230. Whole different number. A third of the number now we're down to. Then you got to pay the staff. Right? The payroll, 300 something, that's player payroll. That's not staff. That's player. Yeah. Then you got to pay the employees of the Yankees.
Okay? Exactly.
So people are, going with this talking point, and it's like this other guy, Mike Rodriguez. I told you the Mets 730 12 p.m. I reported.
That's a joke. There's no.
He said he has a source. I asked him who his source was. He won't announce his source. And 730 since 12:20 p.m. Yeah, no. Yeah,
and why isn't he worth $750 million? He's 5 years younger than Ohtani and better than Ohtani. And how is this team a joke? They just made the World Series.
Yeah, it's just again the Dodgers set this market, not the Yankees.
They have too many holes. What? I'm very confused where your line of thinking is. And I like this comment from Ken. If Soto was a win now player, he would have signed with the team who gets him there.
Yeah. Yeah. Too many. Yeah, I mean, they don't have more holes than the Mets, Joey. They don't have more holes than the Red Sox or the Blue Jays. So, what holes, Joey? What holes?
Yeah. Please enlighten us, because I'd love to hear it.
Hal did tell Juan Soto directly that they were going to, make improvements to the team beyond him. So these holes, knowing why are you comparing him to Ohtani, Jeremy? Ohtani's not in this conversation. Okay. People are like, I'm not paying $700 million for a 285 career hitter. Well, you pay $700 for a 282 career hitter. Soto's career batting average is higher than Ohtani's is.
Let me ask you something, Jeremy.
And Ohtani only has 20 more home runs than Soto. He's 5 years older. Ohtani's not the flex you think it is because he pitches.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's great. But don't try to treat Soto as some mediocre player, saying he's not at Ohtani's level. Ohtani's a perfect fit for the Dodgers. Soto is perfect for the Yankees. We're not talking about Ohtani.
And Bryce, I'm not trying to shoot you down or anything, but Mike Rodriguez is not credible. I'll bring that comment up so you can read that, Jason.
Waiting for this. Yeah, we know everybody said he's waiting for the decision on Soto, but if his reporting was credible, it would have been corroborated by people, and it's not. So, Joey, Joey, I wouldn't go that far. Luke Weaver, good.
Ian Hamilton,
good. Ian Hamilton, good. Mark Leiter Jr., good. They've lost guys. They've lost guys, right? They're going to replace them. And again, we are in December, the beginning of the offseason. So their bullpen will be fine.
Yep.
Their bullpen will be fine.
Tim Hill.
Yeah, they got to bring Tim Hill back, but yeah, he's another one. Yeah.
He's not a good fielder. He was the second best outfielder in Major League Baseball last year.
Same Mets talking points from Twitter that people keep using. Why? He wasn't brought here for his glove. He wasn't brought here for his base running. He was brought here to drive in the guys that run the bases. We keep using these weak-ass talking points from Twitter. Why are we using it?
Oh, it's just funny.
Right? Why? And again, look at his batting average. Higher than Ohtani's.
Also, him and Judge were the top two outfielders in Major League Baseball last year.
Yep.
How is he a bad fielder? Explain that one to me.
Exactly. Joey, 750. We don't know what the number is going to be, but that's what the market is. And again, blame the Dodgers for setting this threshold. The Dodgers
fault. They did it.
The Dodgers did this last year. Ohtani's not worth $700 million. Okay, but he got it. So Soto's not moving to first base. LA, sorry, that's not.
And he's not a bad outfielder defensively. He actually is quite good. He's underrated for what it's worth.
Got a over 990 fielding percentage. Guys, he wasn't. We don't need
Jeremy.
We don't need it to be Jim Edmonds.
Hold on a second, Jeremy. We're not talking about being Yankee homers. The guy is a generational player. Where do you get? I don't even want to know where you're getting this from.
Once he goes to a different team, you guys will be what?
Be talking a different ball game.
What do you mean a different ball game?
Like,
we're going to be last off season that we didn't have any lefty contact hitters, right? We brought the best one in baseball here in Martin. The best one in baseball. If they went to the World Series, and you're complaining that we want to bring him back, we're going to need a little bit of a stronger argument than that.
Yeah. This team doesn't suck, Joey. We made the fucking World Series.
Joey, Judge will be a DH in 2 to 3 years, not first base. You got to get him off the field to protect his legs.
No, we're not saying one guy makes the entire team, but Soto definitely was a major part of that. LB, Soto was the second best outfielder in the major leagues last year behind Aaron Judge. Go look it up.
Yeah, you guys gotta stop using talking points from Twitter, please. It's so weak. Guys. Glass Joe. Like,
I
please.
love this comment by Sean Browning, by the way, and I'm gonna bring it up.
Exactly.
And here's another one. Aiden's right on the money.
Yeah. There was only one player in baseball who had a higher on-base percentage than Soto. And that was his teammate, Aaron Judge.
Yep.
That as well as Volpe. And your point is, Joey? Yeah, they play for the Yankees. Thank you for pointing that out. We appreciate it. Can't hit. Okay. Wells was third for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
Volpe
I thought it was. Yeah, he was third.
Yeah.
Stanton was fucking rock solid for us in the postseason. He was
Joey,
great all year for us.
Yeah, it sounds like
NFE.
we're dealing with a troll. NFE is in the building, brother. It sounds like we're dealing with a troll here in Joey.
Yeah, we are.
It's pretty weak.
It's.
What channel are you getting your talking points from, Joey? Or what person on
What source?
Yeah.
I mean, it's Soto. The plan B for Soto does not make up for what Soto brings.
No, you can't replace him. You need to learn ball. Why don't you teach us, LB?
Please enlighten us.
Please enlighten us.
If you think you know more than both of us, please enlighten us.
And please tell us who's giving you your weak-ass talking points.
And please tell us who was better, who the top outfielders were last year in the majors. Please.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. There is no plan B. He's right. Artie's right. There is no plan B because Soto is plan A, B, C, and D.
Thank you, Li. Li makes a good point here too. The Hells are not as bad as you think.
Yep, I'm gonna star that because that is a great point.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy, where are you getting that from? Because it's obviously not true. You haven't looked it up. You haven't done the research.
He wasn't brought here to be an elite defensive outfielder, and he still had a .990 fielding percentage. Okay?
No one is saying that we're going to be happy just making it to the World Series. We want to win the World Series, but making it was a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident I know where they're getting these ridiculous talking points. And there's one channel who peddles these ridiculous talking points all the time, constantly bashing Cashman and Hal and God, such weak talking points.
Lord, why is it that you're jumping on that Mets bandwagon? I'm not saying you're being disrespectful, but the Yankees are nowhere near out of it.
My goodness.
And obviously you haven't because, Jeremy, if you saw what was it, the series against the Astros where Soto threw out the runner at home to save the game for the Yankees?
And again, Jeremy, you're nitpicking something that nobody cares about. We don't need him to be a top defender.
Well, how are we not with this team? Because we don't bash them like you do? And it's your own points? Okay, well then they're not good points.
Wait, did I just have a seizure here? Li said Cashman's a good GM.
I'm gonna star that one. That's a shocker.
Hey, hold on. I gotta. Cashman's terrible. Oh God, Joey. Yeah, you're definitely using somebody's weak talking points. Yeah, you don't even have to out them. I know they are. So. The team can be made better without Soto. Yes, it is true, but he can't replace. They cannot replace. That is also true, Ken. Yes. Yeah. What has he built? Let's see. The Yankees have had the winning since Cashman's been here. They've had the winningest record in baseball, regular season, playoffs, most World Series championships since he's been here.
Oh, that's right. He's also the most winningest GM since 1970 or 1951.
Winningest GM. Yep. Winningest GM too. Paper Tigers. Yeah. Okay. You're calling them. You're saying this on YouTube channel, and you're calling them Paper Tigers. Okay. Built by Gene Michael. No, I don't think so, homie. No, Bob Watson was the GM here for 1 year. He didn't draft any of those guys, Bob Watson. Gene Michael drafted the guys that don't play for the team right now.
Last losing season, 1992.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then I want you to name me GMs that were better, that have had a longer tenure than Brian Cashman. And I'll tell you you're wrong. But
who's
go
Chris?
ahead and try.
Yeah.
Nobody lasts 25 years as a GM.
Yep.
You see this comment?
Yeah. I don't know if Eli's changing his tune because
I don't know, but it's
whatever. Yeah, he's making good points.
That's a fantastic point.
Oh, let's see, Joey. 1996, they won the World Series. 98, Cashman brought in Chili Davis, Scott Brocious, David Wells. They would not have won the championship without him, without those guys. 99, he brought in Roger Clemens, Cashman. 2000, he brought in David Justice, who would not have won the World Series without him either. He signed a whole class in 2009. Cece, Burnett, Teixeira, all Cashman. They would not have won those World Series in 98, 99, 2000, 2009 without the moves that Cashman has made. So you should stop, Joey, now. Stop while you're behind, please.
You forgot David Justice.
I meant, yeah, Justice in 2000, yes.
Yeah.
Stop what, Joey? Stop telling the truth? Yeah. you might be better off on a place like Truth Social where facts are don't.
Oh, that's true.
El Duque too. El Duque 98 as well, 97 in John Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's right. Thank you, El Duque. Yep.
Why didn't we need Clemens?
They traded Wells for Clemens and won the World Series. Yeah. But thank you for your input. We didn't need Clemens.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I like this comment right here.
Yeah.
Wrong, Joey. He is 6.
He got
Wrong.
one. No, he's got more than one, Holmes.
96, 98.
Now I know you're using people's talking points.
2000 and 2005 or 2009. So 5 he's got.
Now I know you're using other people's weak talking points because we've heard those weak talking points from a couple other places. We know exactly who you're getting your garbage information from. Moose too. Thank you, Moose. Yep. Matsui.
Johnny Damon.
Ronnie Damon. Masahiro Tanaka. Garrett Cole.
CC Sabathia.
He drafted Aaron Judge.
AJ Burnett.
Juan Soto.
Oh, that's right. Mark Teixeira.
Mark Teixeira.
Joey, I'm going to give you this one warning. Cut the shit or you're done. Oh, Chuck Knobloch, too. You forgot about him.
Chuck Knobloch. A-Rod too. Teixeira Sabathia, yep, in 2009. That's right.
Who was it that the Maso Marte?
Yeah, Marte in 2009. Nick Swisher.
Yep.
Tino.
Jeff Nelson.
Actually, no, I think Bob Watson brought in Tino and Jeff Nelson.
Yeah.
He traded for them in 96. That's Bob Watson.
That was Bob Watson.
Yeah, that's Bob. Bob Watson was the GM in 96, so I got to give it to Bob Watson. Cashman was the assistant GM.
But still technically part of that.
Yeah, but Bob Watson, I'll give Bob Watson the credit for that. Fine. That's fine.
100%.
Duque, yep. Duque was another one. Scott Brocious, Luis Soho.
Yep.
A bunch of people.
Kevin Brown, Crawford.
Kim Brown, Carver, exactly. Jeff Weaver. Yeah. Jack McDowell.
Kagawa.
Watson and Michael Bill. No, not really, Joey.
Didn't he also draft Robinson Cano too?
Yeah, he drafted Robinson Cano. Brian Cashman.
No to Teoscar. He wouldn't bring in as much as Soto would.
Yeah. David Justice, yep. Yeah, and then the Mariners also gave Cano like an extra $70 million more than the biggest offer. That's why he went to Seattle
10
too.
for 250 is what he's got. Was what he got, I think, that year.
10 for 240.
There you go. 10 for
Yankees offered him 7 for 175. And then he got popped for juicing twice with Seattle and I think once or twice with the Mets too. Not with the Yankees, so they dodged a bullet there, the Yankees. Big unit too, yeah. Drafted Cano as Alfonso Soriano. Yeah, Boggs and Tim Raines were before Cashman's time. Actually, Tim Raines.
No, Tim Raines was there in '96.
So they were before Cashman's time. Big Josh Donaldson, that's right. Great Joey, he's going to trade if I. People like to harp on the moves that Cashman has made that didn't work, which is fine. But the moves that he did make.
So he's so good. Why haven't they won since 2000 without spending $500 million to win in 2009?
That's the nature of baseball. The game has changed. But they won in 2009. And they have 27 titles. 27. Right? It's not as easy as you think, Joey.
Because if it's so easy, why don't you go apply for the job?
Apply for the job, man. Apply for the
tell
job.
us how it is.
Apply for the job since you can do better, since he's so bad. Yeah, the Yankees have reached out to Teoscar Hernandez today.
Look at this, Jason.
Ken's bringing it, man. Ken's bringing the fire, baby.
You gotta love Ken for that.
They have 6 since 1960. Good for you, Joey. It's fantastic. Who cares if Boston has more rings? Who cares?
We have more rings than Boston in the entirety of our history. So,
Frankie Montana. Yeah, you go. Ken, man. People think it's just so easy. Like, not everybody wants to play here. Not everybody can handle this place. That's a fact. So, opinions that don't change that. So, that's just a fact. No, 1920s. Who's talking about 1920s? Joey, what planet are you on? 1920s. 1916. Good for the Yankees since 1960. Good for them.
Sean Browning.
I'm gonna get Rob. Shit. Stanton too. Yeah, he acquired Stanton. Free agent. Yep, he is a free agent, Aiden.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Yankees have 27 championships.
27 championships. That it is public record. It's a public fact. Ken, do you have an application you can send to me? Stanton, we didn't sign Stanton contract. The Marlins did. Joey. We didn't sign Stanton's contract.
Ken's on fire tonight.
Yeah, Ken's he's dick punching a lot tonight, man. Yeah. Oh my God. Carter, yeah, baby.
Uh,
Why take it on? Because of what he's done with the Yankees, and the Marlins are about to pay $10 million a year on it. That's
just to put this out there, why, if he was so bad, he wouldn't have been the GM for the last 25 years, 25, 30 years.
yeah. Yeah, unfortunately. That's oh, good Lord. He's done more than you, Joey. Then again, so is everybody in this chat, so.
Shit. But all right, guys, we are going to wrap this up. I want to thank all of you guys for coming out tonight. If you have not done so, please hit that like and subscribe button, and please go ahead and subscribe to Jason's channel as well. Both channels appreciate it. So thank you guys for coming on and spending time with us today. Thank you to Uncle Tats of the Pinstripe Chronicles. Please go sub to his as well.
Thank you, everybody in the chat. Ken, you're a legend.
Ken, you are
Li, well done.
tonight.
Li, shout out to you tonight. Well done, Li.
Yep. Well done, Li. Well done.
Really.
So until next time, guys, you have a great rest of your night, and I will speak to you guys later.
More than you both, Joey. More than you both.